One of the wonderful things about Charles Darwin is he was such a social scientist. He not only wrote letters to thousands of people all over the world, but he also engaged with the local community. And this is a wonderful story about him coming across the son of the local chemist and the dialogue that ensued. My father had been accustomed in his business as chemist to supply Mr. Darwin with nearly all his requirements in the shape of drugs and chemicals for his experiments on plants. Being fond of botany, I was attracted by some experiments Mr. Darwin was then making with Drosera rotundifolia, the sundew, which is a flesh-eating plant and easily obtained from the sphagnum moss bed near Keston Ponds. That's where we are now. So one day I went up there with my vasculum. Vasculums are old tin containers that botanists used to carry their specimens in. I was busy collecting the plant when I espied a shaggy pony wandering about, and instantly I thought Mr. Darwin must be there. The shaggy pony was Tommy, Darwin's pony who he rode down to Keston. Not seeing him, however, I went on with my job. Presently I was conscious of someone standing over me, and a quiet voice said, "Well, young man, what are you doing here?" I got up, and there facing me was the grand old man, wrapped in his well-known cape. After recovering myself, I replied, "I am collecting some Drosera to reproduce some of your experiments, Mr. Darwin." Mr. Darwin then asked me what I was doing with the Drosera, and I told him I was not feeding it on flies, but on sulfur and poisonous alkaloids. I told him I found it absorbed sulfur. "How interesting," he remarked, "for that corroborates my experience. But I envy you your access to that mysterious cupboard you have full of interesting poisons." I told him that of course we would send him any he might wish for. I know, he said, "but I should like to try everything." And after a few words of encouragement and some inquiries about my examinations, he shook hands with me, caught his pony and rode away.